Well met, lords and ladies, Jacob Butter speaking, and a warm welcome to this week's Walking Wednesday. I had a plan with this one. I was going to go down this bike path, show you all the town that I discovered, and then I was going to end up, I don't know, really, just showing off that what that place was and discovering a bit more about it myself, because I just turned off after I found it. Turns out the town is mostly dead ends, apart from a main road access. It's probably realistically still part of Garota in general, so not really a huge thing to write about like I thought it before. I just like to explore different areas. Because the thing is, we come here like almost every year, and it used to be the case that, like, the first year we came here, we discovered something new every single day. It was a whole brand new adventure, constantly. But now, because, I don't know, we just kind of grown a bit complacent in that regard, I think. It's just like, oh yeah, I know what we're going to do today. We're going to go down this path, or we're going to go to visit this town again. It took until yesterday for me to really see the town of Finisterre properly, which is a place that we always go to because the lighthouse, that's where the Camino de Santiago ends, by the way, or at least the extended version of it. People actually reach the end of the world and then they leave their shoes. Someone picks them up afterwards, obviously, and then, you know, they stay overnight at the hotel or whatever, and then they head home, or however that tends to go. But yeah, because of that, like, because of that, we just tend to go there and then, like, afterwards immediately leave, and it's not the same. So yeah, as my parents and one of my aunts left, my other aunt and uncle, and I, you know, took a detour and had something to eat in the middle of Finisterre, where we were greeted with the most enthusiastic child reviewer of all time. So it's like a few years ago in Noia, we always remember this. There was this, like, probably like a 3 or 4 year old or something, probably not that low, probably like 5 or 6 years old, and he was complaining about the fact that, you know, he couldn't decide what flavor of ice cream to have, so he was constantly saying that, you know, he wanted a different type of flavor of ice cream. He was like, oh, there's a normal, I want one that's different or something. And we just constantly quote that. I found that child's match now. It's this girl who seems to have ordered the lasagna, even though she didn't like all the ingredients, but she ordered it specifically for like the lasagna itself, and I think also the whichever, like, vegetable came with it. I think it was like spinach or something, whatever it was. And she was just enthusiastically saying, like, oh yeah, I want it for this reason, I want to try this one. And then just really super excited, saying, like, this is delicious, this is the best thing ever. And you know, complimenting, like, the waiting staff and everything. It was like, this is the most delicious restaurant of all time, you know, todo está riquísimo, that kind of thing. So yeah, that was a fun time. By the way, I've reached a different part of the Boca del Rio, which we haven't been down this path. I've achieved my objective. I think if we end up going that way, that's well, that's coming back, obviously. Don't think I've actually filmed on this beach since episode 9 of Walking Wednesday. Maybe I have, I don't quite remember. Because normally we're in theatre day, because that's the spectator day. It's also the Spanish debut of Inside Out 2. I was going to suggest watching that one particularly, but turns out because it was raining today, and also because my mum isn't feeling well anymore, we're not going anywhere today. I am, because it's Wednesday, but you know. Anyway, my favorite quote from the child was when the mum tried the lasagna for a bit and said, like, oh wow, you've got good taste, and the child says, of course I got good taste. Kind of reminds me of the Monty Python scene. Good idea, oh lord, of course it's a good idea. it had that same energy, basically. But yeah, that's the most interesting thing, I think, behind the scenes of the week, because most of the time was because we had all of those guests who were always doing things that aren't like always do stuff like on their own, pretty much, but we tried to get out every single day, and I tried to not stream most of those days. I've done a lot of I've spent a lot of time in like the internet cafe. That's where I tend to upload videos from, and then schedule them for later. So yeah, the Pixelmon stuff, the Toriyama tribute on the Butter Bunch, which again, I'm finally able to actually get stuff done that I have been meaning to for such a long time, because I finally have those moments. So I'm going to get back and continue that, because I'm making I need to make some more Maddie progress now my headache is gone, which leads me nicely onto my next point. My headache is mostly gone, and you'll notice in this video that I am not wearing my sunglasses, which I said I would be keeping on. Why is that? Well, because originally the sunglasses idea was conceived because we thought that, oh, it was the glare from the sun that was actually affecting me. And yeah, like we kind of kept that idea, but I didn't seem to improve too much. So I improved like a day and then like had a bit of a relapse, I suppose. And at that point I was lying down most of the time. I was still using a lot of screens, counterintuitively, but that's only because if I didn't have the screens, I would just been left alone to my thoughts pretty much, and all my thoughts were saying ow, and that was not beneficial to me. Or we'd be trying to get out, but not that day. So yeah, naturally my mum, as mums do, worried that wasn't the only problem that was going on. So when I got up next day, she said, okay, first thing we're going to do when we get back was book you an eye test. At which point I started to worry, because I had heard that, if you're looking at the world constantly through like a refracted lens, whether that's the lens of, corrective lenses, or if it's just your regular eye lenses, then that's a problem. And that does lead to headaches, and I had heard about this, and so it made a lot of sense to me. I did kind of panic about that, because since I basically have no sense of smell whatsoever, that that people say that you're that when you lose one sense, the rest of your senses are heightened. I can't speak for the rest of my senses, but my eyes have always been statistically pretty great, all things considered. I trained myself to have dark vision from the age of 5, pretty much. By which I mean I just spent a lot of time in the dark and I adapted to that, but whatever. And then also, despite the fact that one of my old science teachers said that since our generation was raised entirely on screens, it was the first one that really, the screens and the internet were like everywhere at this point, that statistically all of us, or most of us at least, would either be wearing glasses or have had laser eye surgery by the age of 20. Which seems low, but I'm 24 right now, and I've endured that this whole time. And admittedly, I do have a blue light filter on my computer, which I forget is there a lot of the time. People don't know blue light is the really damaging part to your eyes, and it's also what tends to keep you up at night. Not like I need help with that personally, but it would be even worse, theoretically speaking. And because of that, I keep that on, and I realised that might have had an impact whenever I've been called to be a tiebreaker on deciding which color a certain gacha character may or may not have been. There's some debates where it's like, oh no, that's red, or that's orange, or whatever. Actually, it's mostly red and orange now I think about it. People seem to be stuck on those particularly, for some reason. But, you know, what do I know? What do I know, actually? Because I've had the filter on, I forget to turn it off whenever I'm called to be the tiebreaker. So I'd have to remember that for the future. But, yeah, either way. Even with that, I still use my computer a lot, like, constantly. So, of course, I was like, well, I mean, that would be an issue, and it's something I've like often thought about. It's like, well, you know, any day now it's going to catch up to me. It's like, well, is today that day? And it's increasingly seemed like it was. That was until I had an epiphany. So I said this a couple of days ago to my parents, that my mum was right, but for the wrong reason. She was correct that I was, for that week, constantly seeing the world through a slightly refracted index. And that was damaging my eyes and causing a headache. But it was happening when I was seeing the world through the sunglasses. Because, yeah, this is the same place we've been to every year. Why now, particularly, would it start to affect me? Other than the fact that I'm older. But, you know, again, for that to be such a dramatic difference, that it surprised me particularly for the reasons I stated before about my own eyes and my history and whatever. So yeah, I decided, of course, you know, I didn't just want to make a blind supposition, pun intended. I decided, okay, well, I need to look into this. That pun wasn't intended. I'm sorry. I'm constantly thinking about eyes now. So what I did was, on a day that we were supposed to go to Santiago de Compostela and stay there and walk around and, you know, enjoy the town or whatever, I wore the sunglasses in the car. Then I remembered, as I was looking at my notebook, going like, huh, like that, yeah, they actually did have that slight reflection. So I was like, okay, I'm going to take these off. I put them in the car door, and, you know, I went out into the bright sun of a sunny Santiago day. And let me tell you, I have not felt better since. The day itself, it was still slightly rough, all things considered, but it was not getting any worse. And then every point from that day onwards, I'm like, okay, I feel way better now. I also did change my pillow over because there was an issue with that too. You know, that's been corrected as well. But yeah, now my headache only really comes back when I lean on something for too long, in like a weird way or something. So like, once I don't rest my head for too long without like proper support to it, then I'm good. That's the rundown of it. I'm gonna try and get out of this like path here because I'm really not making any progress. The path sort of ends. I want to find a way to loop around without getting my shoes too wet. The ocean's fine for right now. This part of the Boca has not really gone past. I'm in Boca del Rio, by the way. Okay. Oop. Yep, squelchy mud. Less squelchy sand. Ah, that feels better. Like my head does. So, yeah, that was all the stuff that I wanted to cover. So it seems I've tested my eyes in other ways as well, like reading from a distance or focusing on other points, and it feels exactly the same as it did before. So yeah, this will age like milk if we aren't doing the eye test anyway for some reason, but honestly, from where I stand right now, I've ruled that out entirely, you know. And if my eyes are no longer the perfect things that they usually were, I will allow myself to live in my denial until such a time as it hits me in the face. Possibly because I didn't see it coming. But yeah, honestly, for now, all good. That's what I covered in the last one. And now I'm immediately confronted by... what's that? I've wanted to go down this path before. Sometimes when you go down new paths, you end up finding that it's not what it's cracked up to be. I should have left well enough alone, but you don't know until you try. And this is me trying with a camera. That's not my best idea, but hey, I've had worse ones. Like for example, this one. I just jumped over. Anyway. Yeah. Now we have to go through the mud again. One pair of shoes. This was what I decided for myself. I didn't get this last year here. I got a different pair last year. Anyway. What was I saying? Yeah, so that was all I covered last time. I wanted some spare time to talk about something else because immediately as I turned off my camera, I realized I want to cover a different topic. And that's probably the one that I might have put as the first bit in the episode. So sorry to everyone who has been Jake pulled at this point into the video. I might leave like a chapter link to skip to this point otherwise. If so, hi people who skipped forward ahead in the video. Let's talk about Aphmau. I know, right? I've never done it before on this channel. So, like I think it was only yesterday actually. People started sending me. Bear in mind, I haven't been on the internet much recently because I'm trying to, you know, save space and all that. So I'm not in the cafe. I tend to try to be very reserved with that, which has been working because our 10 gigabytes a day, we are in credit right now because yeah, we all just kind of cut down after the last birthday stream, which really took a toll on the connection, despite the fact that I tried everything in my power to make sure it wouldn't be as devastating as it ended up being. You know, I can't cross here like I thought I could. I'm this close to taking my shoes off and just wading through the water, but then I can't use the camera, so I guess I'll just continue along here. I hope that I don't end up, you know, falling into an unexpected puddle of some kind. But yeah, I've been receiving comments, receiving messages from people saying like, oh yeah, here's something that, you know, has been posted on social media. So some of the stuff just ranges from pictures particularly. So, like for example, people are talking now about Jason's transformation. Not that I don't remember him being particularly muscular beforehand, but now it seems that, you know, people are really showing off the fact that he legitimately has the body of Aaron right now, which kudos to him. The other part was like an honest addressing of things that Jess made actually, which was to do with the age gap between herself and Jason, and how they thought that because of the way that they entered a relationship, that was inappropriate. To which, just to summarize the video, it's a TikTok, so go ahead and watch it for yourselves. It covers a couple more things other than this. But to summarize that point of the video, Jess says that it was 100% her fault because when she met Jason, which was on Final Fantasy VII, I believe, in the online servers, she lied about her age. She was 15, but said she was 18. And she also clarified that the pair of them didn't actually date until they met up in real life 3 years later. Which I know, to someone who is more skeptical than myself, one might say, oh, that's a very convenient narrative. It's like, oh, it just so happens that you met 3 years later when you had in fact just turned 18. Although considering that Jess was on her own at the time, I guess she was, I guess that's when she had enough independence in order to travel in the first place. So maybe that's what it was. Bearing in mind that, again, just pure hypothesis here, that, she based Sylvana off her actual mum. I don't see Sylvana letting Aphmau out of her sight until it was absolutely necessary for her to do so. In fact, that is exactly what happened in the series. But yeah, she says, she apologizes again to Jason specifically, and says, to people like, stay away from this. Which, yeah, the reason I want to talk about that is not because of that stuff. That's kind of, done and dusted. It's weird that they kept the age gap canon when their story was adapted into My Street, of all things to keep the same and not change. You pick that specifically. Why did people catch on to this again? Probably because of the fictional parallels. But hey, what do I know? So, but it's kind of the thing where Aiden says it's weird to see Jess actually talk about something like as a human again. After so many years of distancing herself, now she's come back and it's like, well, people are excited for, the role plays to come back, because he says like, oh, I'm working on a series or something, which is implied to be My Street, but it could be like anything. In that same TikTok, she does say Jason supported like every single story that she wrote, which the fact that Jason's involvement is the piece people are putting together for My Street, bit of a stretch there for that reason. Anyway, I've run out of space. I'm going to have to continue this in a moment. Either that, or I'm going to stop here.